Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about, this whole idea of gym lifts. And I know some people will say, well, Jason, gym lifts are just for your own personal, goals. And that's okay. I don't disagree with that, by the way. I don't disagree with that point. And I'm not saying that every gym lift someone does has to be held to meet legal standards. I'm not saying that it does. Okay? And I'm not saying any of this to be petty. I'm not saying it for any other reason than people needing to be honest with their own progress. Because if we can't be honest with ourselves, how do we assess our own progress? How do we assess if we're doing better or if what we're doing is working? Right? If we're going to talk about progressive overload, even for purposes of muscle gain, if you're not doing the same exercise or you're not actually lifting the weight yourself, all of it, is it even a sign of muscle growth? And I'm going to say no, it's not. And you have no way to assess it. You have no way to assess your own progress, right? So when it comes to lifting any weight, if a spotter helps you in any way, if they make any physical contact with your body, they make any physical contact with the weight, you can't count your PR for your own record purposes. And if you do, you're not being honest with yourself. And if you're not going to be honest with yourself, how could you possibly assess if your programming is working, if your training is working? Okay? That is on par. And I think people will understand, even the physique guys who don't want to argue that, meet legal or whatever. Okay, so what if you're cutting to lose weight and you're going to step on the scale and you need to see if you're actually losing weight or not? Or if you need to see if your waistline got smaller, and when you go to step on the scale, maybe the spotter comes over and puts a couple fingers under you to take a pound off. Does it count? Would you count that weight loss? Well, I was trying to get down to 200, and I stepped on the scale at about 202, but my spotter came over and tapped my elbows up, and it went up to 200. I'm down to 200 pounds. Would you count that? Would you say I have successfully lost those 2 pounds of body fat? If they came over and, the spotter, say you were trying to measure your waistline, he came and pulled it just a little bit tighter up in snug and squished that fat out of the way. Took an extra inch off your waist. You were trying to get to a 34-inch waist and it came back as 35. And he pulled it down to 34. Would you count it as a 34? If you measured your bicep, that spotter come over, yank that tape just a little bit looser, would you count it? No. Okay. So by that same token, is a change in bar weight that you successfully lift correctly indicative of muscle growth? It is. So whether your goal is to bench 315 or your goal is to bench 225 for 10, or your goal is to incline bench 225 for 10. The spotter's coming over and helping you with it. You can't count it because you didn't lift it on your own, and you have no way to assess if you made progress or not because you had an immeasurable outside help. Right? A scale is quantifiable till someone comes and pulls you over. Tape measure or whatever can be quantifiable till someone loosens it. The weight on the bar, if you're using the same form, is quantifiable. Unless someone helps you lift it or you cheat. Is there a difference between cheating and someone helping? Okay, and I think that's where guys will understand, okay, if they did help you lift it, then yeah, it's not indicative that maybe your pecs didn't grow. If they had to help you get the rep PR, like they touched the bar the last 4 reps, on that 225 incline, right? Okay, and I think at that point people will agree. You have no metric of your progress. Back there, gains goblin is what they are. All right. I think people will then get on board. So now I'm going to make the point about technique and form. If you're measuring your bench press and it's paused and then you get a PR by bouncing it off your chest, you don't know how much weight the bounce added. You don't know how much weight the bounce added. That's why they make you pause in competition, so that you can have a valid comparison between yourself and another person. Did you use the same amount of bounce? Did you just use the same amount of cheat? Just like if you're going to use a cheat curl to measure bicep growth, well, I don't know if gaining reps on a cheat curl is the best way to measure that. You should probably do that with a stricter curl. Because if you can curl, 100 pounds for 10 reps and you get it up to 14, your biceps they've probably grown a small amount. But if you're doing cheat reps, you don't know, did you get the extra reps because you cheated more? How is that any different? If we are not honest with ourselves about what's happening with the lifts, how can we measure our progress? And people say, well, the scale, the mirror. Yeah, but this is also a measurement also. But you would also agree that if someone tampered with the mirror, they changed the lighting on you. Spotter comes in and changes the lighting in the room. Do you count that as you getting a better physique? The spotter photoshops it. Do you count it as a better physique? No. At least I hope you don't. Those Adobe gains. All right, therein lay the problem. We need objective criteria. And again, I'm not saying your lifts have to be meet legal, but they need to have some sort of standard. At the very least, it needs to be you lifting it. It needs to be your muscles lifting the weight. If you're going to count it as an objective metric of success, not you bouncing it off of your chest, not bouncing a weight off the floor, not a spotter. I only did 2 fingers, bro, I swear. Oh, I only barely pushed up. Why are you even using a spotter in a squat rack anyways? You guys doing that, doing a 10 rep squat and they got a spotter. Set your safety arms. Have a spotter on 10 rep squats. Single spotter should never be used anyways. Use bars. Use safeties. At a meet, they have like 5 guys spotting you. All right. Absurdity, people. We need to be able to know if our progress is actual progress. For the sake of our own betterment. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.